Welcome back to The Biblical Rocky, our Life Academy series focusing on the life of Simon Peter, also known as Saint Peter, the great leader of the apostles of Jesus Christ. I'm Carson Brown. Today, we visit Matthew 16, parachuting into a very unique place. Jesus and his disciples, Simon included of course, have come upon Caesarea Philippi and have encountered the collision of worlds within. In this Greco-Roman border town, the people of Israel interacted with Gentiles regularly. Conflicting cultures were on display. Many worshipped the pagan idol Pan, the newest in the endless fads of false gods. Statues and temples dedicated to other heathen idols stood tall. The air carried the weight of pagan reverence. It was here, in this land of conflicting beliefs, that Jesus chose to ask a question that would change everything. Who do people say the Son of Man is? The disciples exchanged glances before responding. They had heard the rumors. Some say John the Baptist, one said. Others say Elijah, another added. And still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Surely these men were important characters in the scriptures, but none could compare to the uniqueness of Jesus and his presence before the 12. Jesus listened, but then pressed further. His gaze settled on them with intensity. "But what about you?" he inquired. "Who do you say that I am?" Silence fell over the group. It was a moment that demanded clarity, courage, and conviction. Then Simon, always quick to act, spoke with certainty. "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Why did Simon make this declaration? Was he confident in his answer? Or was he still dwelling in euphoria from watching Jesus walk on water and calm the storm? No. This answer was confident and calculated, the result of careful discernment. As soon as the words left his mouth, Simon surely felt something stir within him. Had he truly grasped the weight of what he had just declared? Before he could dwell on the thought, Jesus responded with an authority that must have sent chills down his spine. Jesus blesses him, affirming that Simon discovered this truth not from human origin, but by a disclosure from God. This was a divine revelation. What comes next marks a critical turning point in the gospel. Not only does Jesus begin speaking explicitly about his coming death, but he introduces another new element of his ministry, the church. Here, we encounter the first use of that word in the New Testament. This word, ecclesia, refers to an assembly of people summoned for a purpose. After saluting his confession, Jesus explains to Simon, "You are Petros," Greek for Peter, "and on this Petra," Greek for rock, "I will build my church." This Aramaic wordplay is likely both intentional and coincidental. The word Sepha would mean the same thing in both places. Nevertheless, Jesus is clear. His church would be built upon confessions like the one Simon, who we can now confidently call our Rocky, had just made. Rocky was the first one to make such a statement. So Jesus handed him the keys to steward this new thing. Rocky's heart surely swelled. He had always been eager, always desperate to prove himself. And now Jesus had singled him out, given him a name that meant rock, and spoken of a church that would stand firm with him as one of its pioneers. It was exhilarating, a moment of affirmation unlike any other. He had glimpsed something divine, something beyond himself. But the elation was short-lived. Jesus began to speak of his impending suffering, of rejection by the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law. He spoke of death. Imagine Rocky's joy fading into horror. This could not be right. The Messiah was not meant to suffer. The Messiah was victorious, triumphant, the promised deliverer of Israel. Rocky had just made the critical confession, and Jesus had affirmed it. Was he now trying to confuse him or lead him astray? This prediction didn't fit Rocky's preconceived idea. Rocky was confused. Jesus' announcement that he would build his church was immediately followed by a prediction of death and resurrection, one that he had never shared before. Rocky, always eager to speak his mind, pulled Jesus aside. Did this happen immediately after Jesus' statement, showing an urgency, if not rushed passion by Rocky? Or did it occur sometime later, after Rocky had time to process and consider his confusion? The text doesn't specify. Either way, we can be confident that Rocky felt considerable unrest over the situation. He approached his confessed Savior. "Never, Lord," he exclaimed. "This shall never happen to you." Did Rocky expect Jesus to nod, to acknowledge Rocky's loyalty, to reassure him that suffering was not part of the plan? Rather, Jesus' expression hardened. His voice, filled with a sharp rebuke, struck Rocky like a blow. "Get behind me, Satan," he exclaimed. "You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." Rocky surely recoiled as if struck. Just moments ago, he had been praised as the rock upon which the church would be built. Now, he was a stumbling block? An adversary? The intensity of Jesus' words must have burned in his chest. He had spoken out of love, out of fear of losing the one he had come to follow. But Jesus saw something different, an obstacle to the divine plan. The weight of the rebuke lingered as Jesus turned to all the disciples. "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." Did Rocky, who had been ready to fight for Jesus, to defend him, understand what his master was truly saying? Jesus spoke of embracing suffering, of losing one's life to find it. The words unsettled Rocky. This was not the vision of victory he had imagined. Yet, even through the sting of correction, Rocky stayed. He did not turn away. Though his mind wrestled with the paradox, his heart remained tethered to the one he had declared the Messiah. The journey ahead would be difficult. He sensed it now more than ever. But he could not deny the truth of what he had seen in Jesus. Perhaps Rocky's confession was the necessary prerequisite for Jesus to begin speaking of his death. Jesus knew that Rocky meant what he had affirmed. He wouldn't leave, no matter how confused or difficult the moment seemed. In that moment, Rocky stood at the crossroads of faith and misunderstanding, of boldness and humility. He had received both great affirmation and stern rebuke, perhaps merely in a matter of minutes. And through it all, Jesus had not cast him aside. Instead, he was being shaped, refined. He did not yet fully grasp what lay ahead, but he knew one thing with certainty. He would follow, no matter the cost. Discipleship, like Rocky's, means exactly this: saying no to the sinful ego and being prepared to suffer in the company of Christ. In doing so, the beauty of community with others willing to do the same is revealed. This is the rock upon which Jesus' church continues to be built. Understanding our role as disciples means knowing that in God's great orchestration of life, we never know what will come next. In his stunning rebuke, Rocky learned a lesson we must too: the importance of never thinking that we have God all figured out. His ways are not always our ways. His plans are not always our plans. What plans does Jesus have in store next for his apostle? In the next episode of the Biblical Rocky, we'll explore mere days after Rocky's profound declaration and shocking rebuke, as Jesus offers Rocky a glimpse of glory unlike anything he has ever seen. Rocky will struggle to comprehend the full meaning of the moment. Will he finally see the bigger picture, or will his human concerns once more cloud the divine revelation? Join us for the next episode of the Biblical Rocky. This is Carson Brown for the Life Academy.